everyone, Cherie here from Ashima Living. I'm a naturopath, yoga and mindfulness instructor, and I help busy burnt out women overcome anxiety and low mood naturally and without nasty side effects. And today I want to talk about something that I get asked about a lot, which is what supplements are best for anxiety. And I'm in a lot of Facebook groups for anxiety as well, and I see this asked a lot, have you tried this? Have you tried CBD oil or this? And I'm going to share some general recommendations, but I'm also going to share a bit of a caveat about supplements and, just kind of taking a willy-nilly approach or just trying what someone else is trying, because the thing with anxiety is there is a lot of different potential causes or drivers of anxiety, and they do vary from person to person. So it is really important to uncover the underlying drivers underneath your symptoms and actually treat those. Whereas most of the kind of general supplement recommendations are relaxants or anxiolytics, which may help you feel better in the short term. But first of all, 40% of people with anxiety, they won't respond to relaxants or anxiolytics, whether that is natural, such as say CBD oil, for example, or even pharmaceutical like a Valium benzodiazepine. So 40% of people won't respond to relaxants. And then those that do respond, while it can be helpful if you're having like an episode of anxiety to help calm you down, if you're suffering from kind of frequent episodes of anxiety or constant kind of generalized anxiety disorder, where it's kind of constantly in the background, then taking those relaxants is not really getting to the core of the problem. It's kind of artificially relaxing you, but it's not really switching your nervous system over to like a safe, relaxed state. You're kind of still in that, what we call sympathetic nervous system dominance, or that fight or flight response. Whereas if we help to address the underlying causes, we can actually help switch you into that calmer nervous system state, on an ongoing basis, ideally. So to give you an idea of some of the hidden drivers, for example, I see a lot of women that have anxiety coupled with menstrual issues like PMDD, so mood issues prior to their period, increased anxiety prior to their period. I see women with anxiety coupled with things like fibroids or polycystic ovarian syndrome or heavy menstrual bleeding. And for a lot of these women, it can be linked to hormones. Often this is what we call estrogen dominance, and estrogen dominance can affect anxiety and also depression. So the supplements that someone would take for that is completely different from someone with a different cause. For example, a gut issue and anxiety, which is also very much linked. So some people have like an imbalance of gut bacteria, or what we call hidden gut infections. And so to treat that, like that person with the gut issues is going to have completely different supplements to the woman with hormone issues. So they're just two examples. Other examples are different nutrient imbalances can have an effect. So if you're low in iron, low in zinc, low in B12, high in copper or other heavy metals, that again is a completely different treatment protocol. Some people have a condition called pyrrole disorder, which they're still researching it, but it's believed it could be a genetic condition. It tends to run in families, tends to be common in people that have had anxiety from a very young age, particularly social anxiety or OCD. And it's really where you don't metabolize certain nutrients properly, and then as a result, like your neurotransmitters basically can get a bit out of balance. So that's another completely different set of supplements. So these are just some causes, hidden causes of anxiety, which is why I don't like to give too much general advice regarding supplements, because everyone is just so different, and it is really important to get to the underlying causes. But having said that, I will give some some general supplement ideas that are pretty much safe and pretty much good for everyone. So, and when it comes to these supplements, you know, what you ideally want to do is prevent the anxiety episodes or panic attacks. So for that reason, I really encourage people to take something regularly to support their nervous system rather than just take something when they are anxious in that moment, although there are things that help with that too. So ideally, you want to be taking something that supports your nervous system on an ongoing basis. So magnesium and calcium, two really safe, well-tolerated minerals that help to relax the nervous system, relax the body, relax the muscles. And what they actually do, particularly the magnesium, is it repairs the coating around the nerves, the myelin sheath. And when that is damaged due to lack of magnesium, and we don't get a lot of magnesium in our diets anymore, you're a lot more kind of on edge and irritable, and things bother you a lot more, and it's easy to get into that fight or flight state more quickly because you're not really responding to stress in a calm, grounded way. A sign that you could be magnesium deficient is if you get those eyelid twitches, or if you get muscle cramps as well. Or one way I know I'm getting low is if I start getting really sensitive to noise, you know, like a piercing baby scream is just like, ugh. And it just feels like your nervous system can't handle it. So magnesium, calcium is a really good one to take, you know, on an ongoing basis. A herb that is really useful is called withania, or you might also see it listed as ashwagandha, which is the Indian name. It's an Indian Ayurvedic herb. Not one to take like in the moment necessarily when you're anxious. It's not going to, you know, it's not going to stop a panic attack. But if you take it on an ongoing basis, particularly for 2 or 3 months, what it does is it helps your body become more resilient and more adaptive to stress. I take this one because it is a good one to take if you're pregnant or breastfeeding. I'm still breastfeeding. A lot of herbs you can't take in that instance. And particularly what you want to look for is, because herbs vary in their potency and their potency and the different extracts that they take from the herbs. And the particular type of ashwagandha extract you want, it will say KSM-66 on the label if you look at the ingredients, or maybe even on the front of the label. So the KSM-66 extract of withania is the one that's been really well studied and has really shown in the trials that it is very useful for anxiety. So I would look for that particular one, and like I say, take it for a few months. I had a break for a week because I was curious as to how much it was actually helping me. And I did find, like, after a week of not taking it, I did feel like, particularly, you know, with my baby and everything, I was more likely to get overwhelmed or just feel like things were getting on top of me. Whereas when I take it, I'm just a lot more able to go with the flow. B vitamins in general are good to take because a lot of the Bs are required for the nervous system, for the proper production of neurotransmitters. That can also help with energy. L-theanine, so this is an amino acid that comes from green tea, but you can buy it like in a concentrated supplement form. That can be helpful for anxiety. Again, kind of that, if you take it ongoing to prevent those anxiety attacks. Lavender is a safe general herb that is really useful. Oh, by the way, with withania, if you have hyperthyroid issues, so overactive thyroid issues, you don't want to take withania. If you have an underactive thyroid, it's actually also really good for that. So these are kind of the general ongoing things you can take. If you're having an anxiety attack, there is a practitioner brand herbal formula that I like to use, like that requires a prescription from a naturopath. That actually works really, really well. But in general, if you just want something generally from the health food shop without a practitioner prescription, kava is a herb that can help. Usually works within 30 minutes to just relax you a bit. That can help. And GABA is an amino acid that you can take. that's particularly good for the physical symptoms of anxiety. So, you know, if you're getting the racing heart, upset stomach, you know, you can get all sorts of physical symptoms, numbness, dizziness, that kind of thing. GABA can particularly help with those physical symptoms as well. But you don't want to take that if you're on another medication that works on GABA. So, for example, a benzodiazepine or Valium or something like that. So those are my general recommendations. But like I said, it is really, really important to get to those underlying causes, because these ones, they are kind of more like band-aid approaches, but we want to figure out why you're getting anxiety and if it is linked to some of those deeper issues like hormones or gut or whatever it is. And of course, to take a truly holistic approach, because anxiety is not just physical, like there's a mental aspect to it as well. So for example, if you have a lot of self-criticism, a lot of pessimism, if you have a history of trauma, it's important to work on the mental side as well. So seeing a counselor or a therapist is also useful for that, and to give you cognitive skills to deal with anxiety on a mental level. And as a mindfulness and yoga instructor, I also like to bring in mindfulness training with my anxiety patients. So mindfulness is extremely well studied for anxiety, and yoga is really good too. And these just help to also switch the nervous system into that calm, safe realm where you're not switching into fight or flight. So I really encourage people to come at it from all those angles, to take a really, really holistic approach. So I actually offer free answers to anxiety 30-minute consultations via phone or online video, where we go through a really detailed health assessment and pinpoint what some of these drivers could be, and give you a plan as to you know, what areas you might want to focus on to overcome anxiety. There should be a link in this video. This is a new feature, I think, but I've added a link. Hopefully you see it somewhere, where you can book directly. Otherwise, feel free to send me a message or have a look at my page. There should be a link in there. So yeah, I hope you find that useful. If you've got any questions about it or about supplements or anxiety in general, feel free to post them in the comments. I'm always happy to answer them. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Okay, thanks for watching.